First of all, welcome everyone. The Phillip Siddiq Show. I am, of course, your host, Phillip Siddiq. CineQuest 2024. We are still there. We're doing our interviews. We have a specific film. They couldn't be in town with us, but they're here on the Zoom interview. The director, writer of Shift and the main actor of Shift. They're going to tell you their names, the bios. Matter of fact, I'm going to read a little bit of the bio, the synopsis. Tom's new gig as the overnight security guard at Your Storage thrust him into a grimy conspiracy when his surveillance video reveals regular visitors, Mrs. Jones, luring a man into her storage unit, a man who seemingly disappears. Armed only with his monitors, a trusty companion, his office chair, well, we're going to have to talk about that too, lackluster wit, and the advice of a late night radio host. Tom investigates the mysterious, sexy, and suspicious Mrs. Jones. The Hitchcock in skinny jeans thriller turns bloody. But whose blood is on, whose blood is on the hands, everybody? We have with us, let's say, writer director Max Neace.
Yes, perfect.
Neace. Okay. Max is an Indiana-bred, Los Angeles-based filmmaker who most recently wrote and directed the upcoming thriller Shift. He produced a feature film, What We Do Next, written and directed by Steven Belber and starring Corey Stoll, Karen Pittman, and Michelle
Ventimiglia.
Perfect. In Louisville, Kentucky. He also produced a thriller feature, Stalker, which was released on Hulu by Vertical Entertainment, as well as the feature film Don't Tell a Soul, released domestically by Saban Films and internationally by Universal Studios. He graduated from NYU Tisch School of the Arts before moving to Los Angeles, where he worked in talent management before shifting, we see what you did there.
A little pun.
Yeah, into producing and developing feature films. And now we have the star, Connor McGill as Tom. Connor McGill was born in Oklahoma City to two thespians. Although he went on to study biology in college, he eventually moved to Los Angeles to pursue screenwriting. Shift is his debut feature role. First of all, gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, guys. Okay. Talk to us about the film. I'll just say, everyone, the film, it's I think mind bending. It caught me by surprise. So, gentlemen, go.
Yeah, sure. Shift was largely the product of a buddy of mine who's a screenwriter, and we collabed on a couple scripts, and he was like, we should make a horror movie in a storage facility. And I was like, what if we told it from the security guard's perspective? And he was kind of like, I don't know if that's a great idea. But I went ahead and I wrote the script. And we built this one room kind of Hitchcock and skinny jeans thriller. And Connor, I actually suggested to Connor right away. And I was like, hey man, if I wrote a movie for you, would you star in it? And he was like, sure. And we ended up jumping on there, and ultimately we cast someone else as the leading role, and Connor stepped back into a producing kind of seat until day one of shooting. Our old guy that we cast, he got COVID and couldn't shoot. So I asked Connor day one of production if he wanted to be back in it. And he was like, absolutely. So he took over the role, and here we are.
And then it's made. Yeah. It was, yeah, I've never acted before except in a few shorts of my own. So this was sort of an opportunity that Max gave me, and it was exciting and thrilling. And I'm glad it eventually turned out that I was Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, you did. Now, folks, some of you will probably see the film and think of, Five Nights at Freddy's. The only thing that I saw was related to that was the cameras. That's it. Everywhere else, it goes left, right, up, center, forward, back, sideways. I mean, you're going to be guessing. How long did it take you to shoot the film? What was your shooting schedule like?
We shot it in 15 days. So basically what we did is we were in a storage unit facility for 3 days, and we shot there's 9 security monitors in the movie, so we would shoot 3 hallways at a time. We had these A7Ss that were set up, and we just had people walk all the way through with each scene of the movie, and then they would leave the facility. So we covered it every which way we possibly could. And then over that weekend, Ben Betts, our co-producer, he edited all of that together. So we could actually play that footage back live in our built set. We were in our built set for about 10 days. And there, we were just trying to craft this movie through these kind of maze-like hallways. But it was a quick production. 15 days was brutal. We started off with 10 and decided we need some more. And luckily our cast and crew was available. So we added a few days and got it across the finish line.
Right. Now, Max, the question for you, since this is your first major film, what was it like for you to step away from the shorts and now you're working in long form format?
So I started off as a producer and I was producing feature films. And I hadn't really directed a lot of shorts, but I always wanted to do the opportunity, and screenwriting was what I was most interested in after I graduated from college. So stepping into the role as sort of, one of the lead creatives on the movie, it was definitely difficult, and it was very time consuming, and there was a lot of decisions that you don't necessarily think about even as a producer, where you're just sort of product managing this film from beginning to end. And to actually shepherd sort of the creative ideas behind it was a blast. It was a lot of fun, but it was definitely stressful. And I learned a lot. Yeah.
I can imagine. Now, I'm sorry, Connor, main actor. What did you learn from it? The question was for Connor, but I got my notes mixed up here. But hey, it's live. So, what did you learn from it? And as I said, this is your first major. What will you take away from this experience to the next film? And then we're going to talk about your specific character.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, as you said, it's my first major film. It's really my first acting role.
Oh, okay.
I didn't intend to be an actor when I moved out to LA, but I met these guys and Max, asked me one day, "Hey, I have something in mind for you. Would you act if I wrote you a part?" And I'm like, "Sure." And at the time, I didn't realize it was going to be a kind of a starring role. So, but hey, he was like, "This character just reminds me of you. I think you just need to be yourself." And I, I grew up around a lot of actors, so I felt like I knew how to fall into that space, and I really loved working on the production, really loved acting, and I definitely see myself doing more in the future.
Okay, now, but how much pressure did that put on you? Because you're the star of the show, man. I mean, you're the one that everything is focused on. How much pressure was that, and how did you handle the pressure?
It was really interesting because, like he said, I had stepped into a producer role before the acting role. So I actually honestly felt more pressure as a producer, dealing with this over here and renting this equipment and making sure all the crew were in place. And then as soon as I was like, oh, I just have to be Tom, I know I can do that. That's one thing, not to oversimplify what I had to do, but luckily it was a role that was, with me in mind. And like you said, the first week we were shooting just in the storage facility, just on the monitors, no real dialogue. So I had time to learn my lines. I had time to fall into the character and find it. And once I told everybody else on the crew, like, hey, this role was meant for me. This isn't just a last minute switcheroo, the producers becoming the actor, everybody felt comfortable.
I will say there were a lot of key positions and even other actors in the movie that once Connor took over the role as Tom, they were like, oh, this movie's going to actually be way better than it was with the other guy who was cast. And I completely agree. Because even though, I wrote the movie with Connor in mind, he definitely elevated the role to something that was far beyond what we necessarily had as an expectation. So it was good.
Well, Connor, you you nailed the role. Everyone, we're here, our CineQuest coverage we have with this director, actor. We have the director here, Max Neace, and we have actor Connor McGill for their film Shift. The actress, talk to us about her, because she is all I can say is, you guys, don't let them pretty faces get you.
Allison was a blast to work with. We found her through a couple of casting directors that we had on the movie, and she didn't audition for the role. I just took a meeting with her, and really I had to. That was the only way. And we sat down across from each other, and she really had a good bead on who the character of Mrs. Jones was going to be, because the movie definitely has a goofy bent to it, and there's a lot of humor and kind of interesting ideas within it. And her character is fairly serious through the entire thing. So it was like, you know, you have to play off these characters that are kind of bumbling through these investigations and trying to cover stuff up. And she was a pro, you know, she was really
Yes.
intense to work with. She was very good across the board, and the humor scenes and then her serious stuff when she was trying to sort of, you know, shepherd the ship to go to the direction her character ultimately wants it to go. I think she did a flawless job, and it was a blast to work with her.
Right.
I don't know how it was like working with her for you, but
Yeah, I was going to ask. Yeah, that was my next question, Connor. The chemistry you two had to build. How quickly did you two develop that chemistry?
Well, it was based on a few the rehearsal time we had together to work on those really intense scenes. Because that was one of the things I was concerned about coming in as a novice with kind of professional actors was, okay, I can do the goofy, bumbling detective stuff by myself because I do identify with that type of characters. But as soon as it becomes this very intense romance, drama, suspense, she and I both wanted to like make sure, okay, we have this weekend before we really get into the heavy stuff. Let's really go through those scenes. And she recommended a great acting coach for me that I had a meeting with before those scenes, and I think it made us both having the rehearsal time and the coaching really got me through. And by the end, I was really feeling those scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, really.
Yes, sir. Now, Sean O'Brien is Hal. Talk to us about him because I work the night shift, and he's like almost every night shift boss I've had.
I love him.
I'm like, holy shit! Excuse me, really, man? Talk to us about him.
So Sean is actually from my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky, serendipitously, but I didn't actually know that at the time. Our producer, G. Gonzalez, had worked on a movie with him prior, and then was like, I'm pretty sure that Sean is exactly who you want Hal to be. And he put in an audition tape, and pretty much immediately we were like, oh my God, no one else can possibly play this role. He knew exactly what kind of humor he wanted to have, and kind of his offbeat sensibilities just really shined through. And he was so much fun to work with. I mean, I made another short with Sean right after we shot Shift. So, you know, we're still very close friends, and I think he's one of the standouts. And there's so few characters that there's so much fun to kind of interact with them all. But Sean he's a great guy.
Yeah. Sean, so Connor, how did you and Sean get the chemistry going here?
Oh, Sean and I think immediately I've had a lot of bosses like that too. So it's watching Sean shift from this kind of friendly, lighthearted guy. He's so polite and kind. And then as soon as he comes in as Hal, you just believe he's your boss. And I better do what he says while rolling my eyes.
Yes.
While rolling my eyes, because he's ridiculous and he's hilarious. And he goes between ridiculous and intense and serious so well. You never know which way he's going to go. And it leads to that sort of, who is this character? Where is he going to go next? Who's the bad guy? I don't know. So.
Yeah, he was great. And even the editing room, he would do multiple takes, and they would always almost be different. So like you would be in the editing room and you're like, do we want this to be more comedic, or do we want to be more serious, or sort of a middle ground? And Sean was really good at turning it 3 different directions that you would always just be like, okay, we have options here. You almost didn't even have to ask him to do it. He knew exactly kind of what we would need to cut the movie.
Okay. Now, the room itself, where it's majority of the things are going on, as a character, whose idea was it to put the 2 posters up there? Night of the Living Dead and The Bride of Frankenstein. Whose idea was that?
So originally in the script, I forget what movie it was now, but there was a different movie that was written into the script where there was these posters that were put up to kind of show that Tom is into movies, and they were kind of creepy. And then we ended up not being able to get the rights to that movie, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but Night of the Living Dead is in the public domain, and we were all big fans of that movie. So we were like, oh well, let's use these posters of like iconic scenes, and you know, one of them, they're always looking at you, it feels like, so there's these eyes on you from even behind. It ended up, I don't know, it was just a cool thing that we managed to find and put up and kind of give the room a little bit of character itself.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like the characters, okay, I'm here, I'm going to make this my own place.
Yeah, little homey for
Yeah, a
sure.
little, yeah, feel like home.
Yeah,
And the unsung hero in this film, Grace Kelly.
the legend herself.
Can't believe we
Yeah.
got her.
Talk to us about Grace Kelly, because I'm watching, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is this the chair? Is this in his own head he's talking to? So
Yeah, so Grace Kelly was written into the script, but she didn't actually have those lines of dialogues that squeak in. But she did. Tom would lean back and ask her, if she, do you like Chinese? And she would squeak. And that was like a way that we could give him someone to sort of, have this journey with along the way. So he had a companion. And the movie too is heavily influenced by Rear Window. So like obviously we took Grace Kelly and named her the chair because it was just a funny, direct homage to like a classic Alfred Hitchcock movie. But when we were in the editing room, truly Grant Vance, our editor, he kind of was like, I think we should like punch this up a little bit and make her a little bit more creative. So then he started to drop in some of those lines of dialogue, and then it was almost trial like by a small town. We were just like, we were all pitching lines and putting stuff in, and the funniest ones typically made the cut, and the most interesting ones that we liked, we were like, hey, let's drop these in. So then Tom was actually, talking to a chair for the majority of the movie, but it was a post-production decision.
okay, because as I said, I'm watching, I'm thinking, is he in his own head talking to himself just to keep from being bored?
Yeah, and I think that it was the
We
initial.
can't reveal. We can't actually reveal. We let the audience
It's definitely
determine for themselves.
It's surreal, but
Right.
I think it is up to interpretation. I don't think it has to be that she is a sentient office chair, but it could be.
Right. Hey, it's a shift, you guys. It's definitely a shift. It's a surprise. Oh, how did you she said, how did you develop? Oh, yeah, this is for Connor. When you finally figure it out, what's happening, how did you go through all those emotions from the beginning to being jovial and then going to what I'm just the big question mark. What in the hell?
Well, I think we've all had moments like that, right? No, and so I just drew on personal experience. Well, no, but I mean, the truth is there are certain things that were written about the character that I identified with. The narrative between the mother and the son. Well, I have a great relationship with my mother, but we've all had family members that we fall apart from, and we feel like we're running away from our responsibilities. And I felt like the movie was a good encapsulation of when we run away, what kind of dark sort of pits we may fall into. And I really related to that and was able to use that to sort of, I don't know, go on this really strange dark journey. And I love Hitchcock movies and I love thrillers, so I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of people go through those emotions, and I can try my best to put myself in those positions.
The radio DJ, who was that? I mean, that the voice was just, and it was like, Connor, your actor's way of like, okay, I need an outlet for all this. And you're really nosy too, dude. And just talking. What's he doing?
Angela Elise was her name. She was actually the first person we cast in the movie.
Okay.
She came through our casting directors too. And honestly, I think we got one round of Iris Keenes, and she immediately, everyone was like, oh, this is the voice. And she absolutely knocked it out of the park. And we added a lot of her lines too later on. She was always a big character, one of the big kind of four characters of the movie. But we definitely enhanced her character based off of some test screenings to see what people were thinking about the movie. And it always comes back to her voice and this like jazz underscore of the radio to add that noir element. So she was just a fantastic actress. That was a blast to work with. And she knew exactly what we needed. The Warriors was a big inspiration, and she had seen and appreciated that movie. So we had a lot of mutual ideas.
Ah, okay. The Warriors. I remember that 3 bottles. Warriors come out and play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, indeed. Well, gentlemen, what else would you like to say about the film? Because I mean, when you go out and see the film, believe me, you're going to let me see, edge of your seat. You're going to figure out how this is. I thought the actress was going to be something else. As I'm watching this, I'm saying people are disappearing. What am I? You get to play around in your own head.
Yeah, I mean, we just want people to see and interact with it. We love to hear what people think about it. It's definitely an offbeat thriller. I think it has a unique tone. It has a unique way of telling a story through mostly security monitors with some great cinematography. We play tomorrow at 4:40 at the California Theater, so we'd love to see some people out there to come check it out.
Right.
It's our last screening here at CineQuest, so
Okay. Okay. If anybody wants to contact you on social media, do you have an address you can give to the folks right now?
Totally, yeah. There's two you can use. I think it's Shift Movie 2024 is our film account, and then mine is Max Neace. You can message me directly there if you want to. I'm happy to tell you guys where to check it out or how to see it.
All right. Can you spell those out, for folks? Because sometimes it gets kind of jumbled up. So
yeah, so Shift is SHIFT movie MOVIE 2024, just the year. And then Max MAX, the number 9, Neace NEACE.
Perfect. Well, gentlemen, this has been a great conversation. And I tell you, man, when you see the film, you guys, you won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. Sometimes indie films, indie films are for everyone. This one in particular, Shift, yeah, it surprised me, and I watch a lot of films and I was like, holy shit, what the heck? Damn. I'm not kidding. I'm like, and I don't usually jump, dude, but I was like, when the what is that? The great reveal comes about. So
oh yeah, there's some good twists for sure. It's a fun movie.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
That's
It's
what we were
definitely
going
fun.
for. You got it.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. Connor McGill, Max Neace, Shift. Coming to it's at CineQuest now. Maybe coming to a theater near you, live streaming. Remember, go back, watch the tape, contact Max, and everything will be golden. But yeah, dude, it was just so good.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.